Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh. Welcome to the lounge. Thanks for joining us for some pours. We love hanging out and having pours with friends, so thank you for being here. What we have in front of us are two matchups. So the glasses here on your left, our right, is glass 1, and these two are glass 2. And they came from these sample jars, which were drawn at random from our blind sample pool, which is a bunch of things that have been matched up for one reason or another. Probably allocated versus available, but it could be just two products that are comparable and we're trying to see which one's a better buy. Maybe it's two special products and we're trying to see if they even come across as special, or maybe it's a complete curveball to keep us on our toes. It could be almost anything, but we do it this way to give you a really honest and unbiased opinion without any labels or hype coloring our opinions. So you're going to get to see us taste these, tell you what we think about them, which we prefer, then we'll find out the price and see if that changes how we feel about either glass, and then we will find out what we're drinking. And once we find that out, we'll know why the matchup was in here, and we can speak to that a little bit. But it's a really good time. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you find it entertaining on some level and hopefully useful. We think it's the best way to taste whiskey.
Yes.
So,
and before we smell these, I want to say I'm looking at both of these.
Yeah.
Both are coating the glass.
I will also say
they have legs.
We are tasting blind, but we are sighted individuals, and I can clearly see that glass 2 here is darker than glass 1 by a couple of shades.
But both of them are coating the glass.
But you never judge a whiskey by its color or a book by its cover. I said that backwards. Never judge a book by its cover or a whiskey by its color. That's what we say around here.
Either way.
So let's get into the nose on glass 1.
Oh.
Whoa. That one crawled up my nose.
It smells a little sting in the nostrils a bit.
Yeah, I just had to acclimate to it. It's coming around more the more I smell it.
It smells like whiskey. Like, it smells good. I'm not getting anything specific, but it smells like good.
I will say, specifically, I feel like I showed up in a t-shirt and Erin showed up well-dressed. She's got like this nice turtleneck on.
I like a turtleneck moment.
She's looking nice. I showed up all scrubby in a t-shirt.
No, you're not scrubby.
If you want t-shirts like this Batman and Catwoman, Glencairn, Answer the Call, you can find that in the video description below or the pinned comment for stuffandwhiskey.com, as well as glasses like these Whiskey crystal-footed tasting glasses, including the 4 glasses and the flight board we're using here. You can find that over at stuffandwhiskey.com. Felt like the perfect place to mention that. We make basically no money on that. It's just offering cool stuff to you guys. It's all
and it's a lot of your wardrobe.
Yeah, it is.
Our merch is a lot of your wardrobe.
I mean, we really have merch so that I have clothes to wear.
So that Josh has clothes to wear.
Yeah, but we make it available to you
welcome.
guys too. So nobody's getting rich off of this stuff. It's just drop shipping, y'all. We just cover that cost. Yeah, making cool stuff available for y'all.
Okay, so this smells like whiskey. I got a little bit of like a rocking chair out of it. Like if this were an item, it would be a rocking chair covered in whiskey.
I don't know if I've ever said this note before, and it's not quite it, but it's the closest thing I can think of. You said rocking chair, which puts in my mind a bit of like a dry wood, like a dry woodiness. And this also has a little bit of everlasting gobstopper on it. You know how those are like chalky dry?
Yeah.
It kind of smells sugary sweet like that.
Okay.
But it's really faint.
Okay.
It's not over the top, and I like over the top sweetness.
Yeah.
So this isn't my favorite nose, but
I didn't pick up on that, but I can see what you're getting, like how you're getting that for sure.
Yeah, and that's just how my brain is trying to relay what I'm smelling. Like if I was just in casual conversation, I'd be like, smells sweet and a little ethanol-y, a little sharp. Yep. But we're on a video, so we might as well try to communicate what we're getting. Let's get this on the palate. But first, we have to talk about today's video sponsor, ZBiotics, the world's first genetically engineered probiotic designed to tackle the rough mornings after drinking. This stuff right here is a game changer, and it is super simple to use to feel your very best the next day after having some pours. All you do is shake it up, crack it open, drink your ZBiotics. Then you have your other drinks, and you have a great morning the next day.
Because let's face it, we don't bounce back like we used to.
No, not at all. This stuff helps us immensely. We were skeptics, turned subscribers. We tried ZBiotics. It changed the game for us. And actually, we thought that first time had to have been a fluke. So we tried it again, and we became subscribers ourselves. We've actually subscribed for the last 2 years personally, and it wasn't until we subscribed that we reached out and ZBiotics became a sponsor.
We don't do any recording for the channel, barrel picks, live streams, none of that without ZBiotics first.
That's true. We show up to barrel picks, break open a box of ZBiotics, and people are like, oh, that's for real. Yeah, it's for real, because feeling our best the next day after having some drinks is very important to us. And if feeling your best the next day after some pours is important to you as well, then you can click that link at the top of the video description or scan this QR code right up here, and that will take you over and get you a 15% discount. And if you want to subscribe like we do, that first month will get you an even bigger discount. And all of this is completely risk-free because they have a 100% money-back guarantee. So get you some ZBiotics, whether it's a 3-pack, a 6-pack, or a 12-pack like we subscribe to. Thank us later. And ZBiotics, thank you for making a product that we love so much that we can stand behind and we can recommend to you guys. Now that we've got our ZBiotics in, let's get back to the video. Oh, okay.
It tastes
She's coming through.
Kind of sweet, kind of sharp, kind of ethanol-y.
Man, that exceeded expectations based on the nose to me.
Really?
Yeah.
It kind of tasted exactly like I expected it to based on the nose.
I guess I probably should have expected more on the palate because I was getting some sharpness on the nose. I should have expected a good punch of proof and flavor on the palate. She got some flavor to her. I'm not sure what kind yet because on first sip, the thing that surprised me the most was just how much flavor it had because I just wasn't expecting that.
Well, let's take another first sip.
That was good.
Yeah. Pretty consistent on the second sip. Bright, woody, a little sharp. Not bad, but it's pretty bright. And I'm finding that I don't necessarily think I like bright whiskeys. Like the more I drink, the more I'm finding that out, I think. Yeah.
Interesting. If you could take a chocolate raspberry cake, but there was a company that made a protein bar, for instance, that was in the chocolate raspberry cake flavor. So it doesn't actually taste like a chocolate raspberry cake, not a slice, but it's an interpretation of that that's not as good, but still just kind of the same flavors. And they did a good job at making the dupe. That's what I get on that glass.
I can see that.
It's like chocolate, raspberry, a little bit of nuttiness in there, generally sweet, some vanilla, caramel, oak, all your classic bourbon-y type of stuff, and decent punch of flavor, decent proof point, it seems like, decent finish. Just a decent glass. Like if this glass right here was a friend of mine, and I had a lady friend of yours inquire about John here, and they're like,
would you want to set her up?
What's the deal with John? I'd be like, John's a really decent guy. He's a really decent guy. I don't know that I could sing his praises much more than that, but I would say he's a decent guy.
Would you set her up with him?
It depends on how much I like your friend.
Okay, fair enough.
I need to know how she is so I know if they're a good pairing.
Fair enough.
You know?
Okay.
If I think they're a good pairing, great. Like I would tell you if you like all those things that I just said, kind of a decent punch, not over the top,
something
not too heavy-handed,
kind of bright tasting. It doesn't have darker notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you might be a match to this glass. Maybe that's what we ought to. We're doing stuff and whiskey. We should just be the whiskey match game. Yeah. Matching whiskeys to your palates and ours. We're rebranding here on the spot. This is what we just started doing uncut videos just a couple weeks ago, and we're already rebranding the channel.
Here we go.
Whoa.
This is more what I'm talking about.
Okay.
This is dark. I feel like we've switched places today because you're giving these off-the-wall tasting notes that I usually give, and I'm saying this is dark, dense, and sweet. And that's usually what you love. Did we just like Freaky Friday? Like, did we swap personalities?
We did not, because I'm feeling the same way about this.
Okay.
The only thing bright I got in the first glass was just the brightness of the alcohol being present. But I didn't get a bright flavor profile. I got that chocolate raspberry cake.
I did. But
this right here is there is so much more depth, richness, roundness, cohesiveness.
Round. This tastes like the shape of, or this smells like the shape of round.
But it's heavy. It's like a heavy roundness.
It's like a kettlebell.
Yeah, this is a kettlebell of whiskey on the nose right here.
We haven't even tasted it though. I hope the palate matches the nose. I'm always nervous when something smells so good.
Yeah, if the palate doesn't match the drapes, that's a real problem.
Yeah, I don't want a birthday bourbon situation on our hands.
Okay. Vanilla, huge vanilla. Oak, huge oak, but sweet and subtle and mixed in. It's not a sledgehammer of oak. It's like a nicely threaded sweet oak in with all the vanilla.
I'm getting paint, black paint, not white paint.
Yeah.
Dark, these walls, black paint.
I know that sounds like a crazy note if you're watching this, but smelling it, it makes sense.
Doesn't it make sense?
Yeah, and there is a, on top of all that, there is a fruity sweetness that I'm trying to identify. It's probably strawberry or something. Like it's like a berry, a sweet berry that's not tart. It's just all sweet.
We have to taste this
right.
and just prepare for disappointment.
Probably. It's hard to live up to noses this good. Interesting. Oh, okay. It's got a second gear on the finish.
I'm going to do another first sip.
I probably need one too. Man, things really come into line on the second sip.
That first sip. I mean, that first sip was always just an acclamation sip to me. This is not as sweet on the palate, and it's coming across with more woodiness. But I don't know what kind of woodiness. Like it's not. But it doesn't taste like young. It doesn't taste super old.
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know. It just tastes like wood.
I don't think it tastes super old necessarily, like a heavy-handed old oak profile.
Yeah.
I think it might have some age on it, and I think the oak is integrated in such a way where it's really, again, to the point of what we smelled, it's very cohesive on the palate, and it really balances in with the other sweetness that's in the glass so that it's not getting old and tannic and you know,
and it's got a nice lingering finish. It's not overbearing, but it's sticking around.
It's got this, again, it's got like that berry type of situation going on in it, like almost a berry compote, even like a raspberry.
I would say there's no raspberries, but it's like blackberries, strawberries, blueberries.
Yeah, sorry. Strawberries. I said raspberries, didn't I? Yeah. Strawberry, blackberry, blueberries. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Blueberries.
It's got all that in it. Super sweet oak.
Yeah.
But seemingly to me kind of old. Good spice so that it's not all sweet. That thing right there.
Good spice, but not overpowering spice.
Correct. I think of things like an equalizer or knobs, you know, and this right here, everything is at like it's 8 or a 9.
Even.
Right.
Yeah.
The first glass is amped up on the proof, amped up a little on the sweetness, kind of pulled down on the spice. It's the heat in glass 1 is more proof than spicy.
The finish for me, it was pulled down on glass 1.
Yeah. Whereas glass 2 is just she nice across the board. Now, what we would typically do in our videos is go off screen and take a break, drink some water and all that.
And we're going to do a reverse glass 2 first, then glass 1. But we're going to do that on camera today.
Yeah, we're doing it on camera from now on. Maybe we'll end up cutting this or maybe we'll end up changing it, but we're going to give it a fair shake. So we're going to clear our palates with some water. And then anytime you're tasting blind, it's always really important to go back in an opposite order. Or if you're drinking more than 2 pours, what I like to do is start from what I think I like the least and work my way to what I think I like the best, in the idea that each pour that I try next should be better than the last one for my palate. So that's the way I think.
All right, I'm going to get my real water out because I'm out of the pretty water and the pretty glass.
We're uncut. It's got to be run.
This is real life here, man. This is what I normally drink out of.
This is filling the glass up before we start.
My Nalgene.
That's all right.
I hydrate or dihydrate, man.
One time I was doing a Patreon live stream, which, by the way, a perfect place to talk about our Patreon community. best dang community on planet Earth as far as whiskey goes, or even outside of whiskey. It's just really the best that there is, period.
Good people.
But good people who love good whiskey. Through Patreon, for as little as $3 a month, you can get plugged into our Discord that automatically links to your Patreon account. And then that's our online home for social stuff. We don't have Facebook or anything like that. We do have an Instagram that we never check. So if you message us there, email us instead. But you can get plugged into our Discord, and people are helping people find things, sharing samples, talking whiskey all day long. It's a fantastic place to be. Also, through Patreon is where we release our barrel picks. And yes, I'm stalling for time to let my palate recover, but that's where you get our barrel picks, where we go to distilleries, select barrels that we put our stamp of approval on, and then make them available to you guys. And it's a fantastic way to get some whiskey. If you like our palates and you like what we like, then you're surely going to like our barrel picks. I make it a very strong point during our barrel picks to every week on Patreon, anytime we're going to release a barrel pick, I do a tasting and answer questions, do a Q&A, nerdy live stream where I taste the pick, tell you exactly what to expect out of it. You're not buying things blind. You're getting an opinion from my palate. I mean, I wouldn't have picked it if I didn't like it, but you know.
But you talk about it in a way that people can know, like, oh, I like the things he's talking about. I want to get this. Or I don't like the things he's getting. I don't want to get this.
I literally spend a portion of some of our live streams talking people out of buying some of our picks if I know their palates don't align with that pick. Like, maybe it's something I like, but I know that somebody else doesn't like it. I'll tell them, hey, don't buy this. This one's not for you. So, you know, that's just the way that we like to do things. We don't want you spending your hard-earned money on barrel picks. And this beats the heck out of going to a shelf and just grabbing some random, like, Total Wine pick. You don't know who picked it, why they picked it, anything like that. This is way more vetted. So you can get that over on Patreon. And you can get shirts like this. I love this shirt. You can get it at stuffandwhiskey.com, as well as these Whiskey crystal-footed tasting glasses, including this flight board and everything over there at stuffandwhiskey.com as well. So the palate has recovered, even though I've been bumping my gums. Glass 2 on the nose and palate. It still smells every bit as awesome.
On the nose, they both became more of what we got originally. Oh, interesting.
Man. That is like sweet tart, liquefied sweet tart juice that's been aged in an oak barrel for 15 years. It feels like to me. There's almost like that blueberry, almost like a blueberry grape type of thing going on in there in glass 2. Lovely proof point, tons of flavor, even levels of spice, nothing standing out. Nothing's like, it's not like you're in a band where somebody's playing too loud and you're like, hey, guy over there in the corner, settle down. You're throwing off the mix. Glass 2 feels perfectly mixed.
Yeah. For me, glass 2, that first sip was just nothing. And then that second sip is where I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it was so weird. I was wondering if I picked up the wrong glass, if I mixed them up or something.
All right. Now I'm with you on glass 1 being bright. You said bright at first.
Yeah.
Now I'm really getting it. This is way more like a bright pastry.
Although the finish on this one amped up for me this second go around.
Yeah, it's got like a sweet and sour type of thing going on to it.
Interesting.
Sweet in the way that like the caramel, vanilla, oak come through, but then there is a bit of a sour tinge in there as well.
Yeah,
but not in a bad way.
I don't know if it's sour as in like actually sour, or sour as in it kind of tastes like young.
Yeah, I can see that.
And like, I don't know how to describe that if you don't know what that means. Like, how would you describe a whiskey that tastes young to like someone who maybe doesn't know what that means?
It is tough. It's just kind of like a graininess.
Yeah.
But people say graininess, and years ago I was like, what do they mean by that?
Yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. If you're unsure, I'm so sorry. Once you taste enough whiskey, you can kind of tell when something tastes young. I'm not saying it is young, but it's giving me the impression of something that is young. If it's not, then I'd be surprised. But whiskey can surprise you, so.
Man.
I think I'm like, it kind of got a little more difficult for me to actually get a rating on these.
It's getting very difficult for me.
I definitely prefer glass 2.
As do I.
But I don't know what my rating is on it. Because I have to take 2 sips in order to really actually enjoy it.
Yeah, and we're almost out, and we can't re-pour from these. These are donezo. So, yeah, I do prefer glass 2. I think it's clear but close. I like to make that differentiation. Like, is this a chasm between these pours? Not in my opinion.
No, they're a little different, but also not, like, vastly different.
It's kind of light side, dark side to me. And they almost feel like they could be from the same distillery to me. And I'm not trying to think about what distillery that could be or even what these pours are, but just one is a little bit more bright fruit, spice, and a little bit more in your face, whereas glass 2 is a little bit more well-rounded and a little bit more rich and dense. Doesn't have the spice that glass 1 has, but it just has like this more kind of rich profile.
Yeah.
So that's why I like glass 2 more. But there are days where I maybe would gravitate towards glass 1. It just depends on my mood. But glass 2 is going to be it for me. Are you good for me to give my ratings?
Go ahead, yeah.
All right, I'm going to go thumbs up on glass 1. I'm going 2 thumbs up on glass 2.
Whoa.
I love glass 2.
Whoa.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Wow, okay. So I think I'm actually going to go thumbs up on both with a caveat that I do prefer glass 2. The more I drink glass 1, the more I'm enjoying it. It still is bright. It still is all those things that we said earlier, but maybe I'm just getting used to that and maybe I'm enjoying it more.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All right. We're going to find out price and see if that changes how we feel about these. Okay. And I know we've gone on for quite a bit, so we're going to try to expedite this back half. So glass number 1 is number 46 in our pool. What is the price?
Dang. Sorry, I saw both prices.
46. Glass number 1 is
$30.
Really?
Yeah.
That's solid. What's the price on glass number 2, number 45?
$175.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. Here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. Are they comparable? Not exactly, because
they do
the light side, dark side thing.
Different.
Like there are some flavors. There's a core profile of taste that is very similar in here, which I see why they were paired together because of that core flavor profile. But glass 2 definitely tastes more expensive, tastes older, more well-rounded. So, yeah. Where are you at ratings-wise?
I mean, for $30, that's a really good value, but it's not especially lined up with my preferred flavors. So, do I go on value or do I go on personal preferences? That's the dilemma I'm at. Like, I could go 2 thumbs up because $30 for what that is very good.
Yeah. Do you want to think about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to stay thumbs up on glass 1. I really like it, and it is great value, but I don't need to buy multiple bottles of it, so I'm not going 2 thumbs up. It's just thumbs up for me. Strong thumbs up, though. Fantastic value. Glass number 2, I am coming off of my 2 thumbs up, I believe, but I probably do need to take another sip real quick. Yeah, I have to come off my 2 thumbs up there. It's not the best whiskey I've ever had. I do love it, but I am coming down to just thumbs up. So I'm thumbs up on both of them. Okay. And I think the value is excellent for glass 1, and I think the value is fair for glass 2. It's pushing the limits, though. Like, this would be, if I were a teacher and this were a kid in my class, I would be keeping a very close eye on them.
Yeah.
All right, where are you at?
I am going to stay thumbs up on glass 1.
Okay.
It's great value. It's not 100% in line with my preferences, but it's not bad, and I would drink it, and I would actually own a bottle of this. Okay. I am going to have to go down to just okay.
I see it.
Just because it's $175 for me is a lot of money. That's like getting into that is special whiskey money
special whiskey
for me.
Money, yeah.
And I've had whiskey that's about the same price, maybe a little bit more, but not too much more. That's way more specialer than this.
Yeah, for your palate, yeah.
To me.
All right, let's find out what we're drinking.
Okay.
Let's start with glass number 2, number 45.
Okay.
The pricey one.
Oh, Old Granddad, 16-year.
100 proof?
100 proof.
That drinks with great flavor. Okay. So what's the first glass?
Old Granddad 14.
114?
114. Oh,
Wow.
I said 14 year. I was like, wait.
Wow.
Old Granddad 114. Well, that's
Okay.
a way higher proof.
All the math checks out.
Okay. And this is thanks to Mike, Kim, and others. Oh, wait. Where'd it go? Oh, no. 45 and 46?
Yeah, 45 and 46. We like to give credit where credit is
Yeah.
due, and you guys make these videos possible.
So thank you to Mike, Kim, and others for all the Old Granddad 16-year samples. So we're not sure who gave us the sample, but we have several. So thank you guys to who gave us our 16-year samples.
Oh, this is so good. I love this matchup. So you got 114 proof. The proof came through. We just thought it was spice. Or no, we didn't say spice. We said ethanol.
I thought it was young, yeah.
It is young.
Oh, is it?
And it is ethanol-y. And
How old is it?
Nobody knows.
I'm
but
like a professional whiskey taster.
Nobody knows, but to be 114 proof for $30, it ain't that old.
Nobody knows.
Glass number 2, 16 years.
The troubles I've seen.
Same mash bill, Jim Beam, high rye. I do like Old Granddad 16 year more than the average bear. That is a true statement.
You do?
I've really enjoyed it. Again, though, every time I've drank it, I've really, really loved it, but I struggled with the value. And I think we absolutely saw that play out here, at least for me.
Yeah.
You loved Old Granddad 16 year as well.
I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it. I liked it.
But again, you struggled with the value also enough that you went down to just okay. Whereas Old Granddad 114 definitely is. I mean, there's a commonality in flavor, but it's not comparable.
It's not the same.
They don't taste the same. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to put a little splash of Old Granddad 114.
I don't have much left.
In here. I'm not
I
going
had
to put
to
it all.
do a lot of deliberating. I could not figure out where I was with these. This was a difficult head-to-head because, like, nothing stood out.
Smell the blend. So, here's the thing.
I smell your blend.
Old Granddad 114 is not a replacement for Old Granddad 16 year, nor is Old Granddad 16 year like anything like that. I want to highlight that because they're not the same thing.
You can't buy one as a replacement for the other.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
It's okay as a blend. It's fine. Like, it's fine. Like, it's just as fine as these other two individually.
I think you're right there, which is why I would struggle to do this blend. I would struggle to alter Old Granddad 116. If I paid $175 for that bottle.
You mean 16 year?
Yeah. What would I say, 116? If I paid $175 for Old Granddad 16 year, I would just drink it and appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
I want a bottle now. I do. I would as a whiskey nerd would stretch and purchase a bottle of that just to have it. But if I never get a bottle, I won't cry myself to sleep at night. So
that's fair.
Super enlightening head to head. Again, if you like this style of content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You're going to get more of it in your feed all the time from us because this is what we do over here. Blind tastings to cut out all the bias and give you the most honest opinions possible. Also, give this video a like if you liked it. It was a ton of fun for us to make. We hope you enjoy it.
The likes really do help. It shows YouTube that people like it, and they show our videos to more people, which always helps. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Be good and do good. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers.
That was a very interesting head-to-head.
I totally forgot this was in there.
That's the point.
A little bit proud of myself for picking up that it was the same distillery. Yeah. But
good for you.
Wow. What's crazy to me is the not spice but heat that came through on OGD 114, and also how the 16-year didn't drink 14 points lower proof to me.
No, it didn't. It held its own proof-wise.
Yeah.
I didn't think that there was a big proof disparity, and honestly, I didn't really even think about the proof at all.
Other than the fact that this had an ethanol edge to it, that was the only difference I got. Like the finish on the 16-year definitely stood up.
And at first, the finish didn't stick around for this 114, but then the second time it came around, like when I had it second, it came around. So, I don't know. Interesting.
Well, super fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad I put this matchup in here.
Me too.
And totally forgot about it.